It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, we welcome a former standout from the basketball ranks. After a superb collegiate career at UNLV, he began to play professionally, first with the Sioux Falls Skyforce of the Continental Basketball Association. He later joined the Los Angeles Clippers in the NBA and averaged over 10 points a game in his rookie season. He then played for 2 seasons with the Washington Wizards, where he teamed up with the legendary Michael Jordan.
Picked up by Kwame. Good hustle by Popeye. Nice pass to Nesby.
Oh, yeah. As soon as they get a hold of the ball, and you see Jordan freeze it, there you got Nesby going all the way to the basket and finished strong.
After his stint in the NBA, he played pro ball in Europe before he finished his career with the Las Vegas Venom of the American Basketball Association. He then ventured into the coaching ranks on the high school level. After taking over the reins of the Muhlenberg boys basketball program in Pennsylvania, he coached them to a state championship last year. We now welcome Tyrone Nesby to this live stream of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday. Welcome into another live stream edition of Listen In with KNN, sports talk radio show and podcast. I'm your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson, and look, so excited for today's show. It's Thursday night. It's NBA draft night, and look, we have already just a lot of trade rumors swirling, and that's why today I decided to bring in a basketball great to the show. We'll talk hoops, what he's been doing, and really all the great stuff that he's been doing post-basketball. So we're bringing everything together. But before we get there, I do want to give a shout out, since it is National Intern Day, to the new interns that I'll be welcoming on the show. So excited to have them, and a special thanks to my last set of interns who continue to go on and do great things, both getting promotions in the world of journalism. So excited that soon on the next show, you all will get to meet some of the faces behind the show. And of course, as always, a special thanks to my team, and a special thanks to you all for joining me each and every week. And as always, I encourage you, look, interact with us, ask your questions, get them answered live. My special guest has already agreed to it. And look, we're going to have fun as always. So without further ado, joining me on today's show is none other than Tyrone Nesby, a basketball coach, a former UNLV running rebel, and an NBA veteran. So without further ado, please help me welcome Tyrone to the show. Tyrone, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. I'm so glad you could join. And you're in Vegas, right? You came, is this the hotel room that you're in right now, Tyrone?
Yes, I am.
I'm honored. I'm honored because anytime somebody takes time out to join me, especially when they're supposed to be having fun in Las Vegas, it means a lot. I see you repping the UNLV shirt, so you know we got to talk about that. We got to represent all day. We'll be talking that and so much more. So first off, you had safe travels to Vegas, right? Is it crazy there, Tyrone? Are the COVID restrictions a little bit better there? You don't have to be masked up or anything?
Actually, starting tomorrow, you got to wear a mask. It's a mandate starting tomorrow. So we're going back to the pandemic world now. So we got to get ready for it.
All right, look, we got to do what we have to do. At least you get one day maskless, Tyrone. And I know you're going to be safe, but glad you're in Vegas. So what brings you to Vegas, Tyrone?
I'm just coming out. I was checking out this UNLV, seeing what they're about. Just checking out the boys. I think they're gonna be ready next year. I'm hoping Coach Kruger do his
Yeah.
thing. We got to support. I mean, we're gonna support them 150%. So just coming out, enjoying it, the heat and some free time.
Nice. Well, look, free time checking out UNLV. I hope they make you proud as a former UNLV great. We're going to put you as a UNLV great, Tyrone. So again, it's a great trip. We already have the shout outs coming in for you. Daniel Artest said, shout out to you, Tyrone. We used to hoop together at the 24-hour fitness. So he wants me to tell you, he said, what's up? And he's tuning into the show. You used to beat him in those games, right? At the 24-hour fitness, Tyrone?
You know, it all depends what day I was having. I can't claim all the wins. There are a lot of wins I have been in 25 fitness, but I can't claim all of them.
Look, at least you're honest about it. Some people will just come on and say, yeah, Kelsey, you know, I've won every game. So you're honest about it. But I know Daniel can hoop too again. So excited to have you. And I checked out some of your posts. I know you're going to be in Vegas too for NBA Summer League, right?
Yes, I'll be there. I'm now in the NBA assistant program, basketball coaching program. So we have about 3 more months of that program. And so I get to hang out with the young boys and see what they got.
Yeah. Anybody in particular you're looking forward to watching, Tyrone?
No, not really. I'm one of the guys, I just have to see it in person. The highlights and all that, that's great. But me, I have to actually see it. You
want to see it in person. Yeah, we want to see it in action. Highlight reels are great for some, but Tyrone needs to see you actually and what you can do when he steps into the building. Respect to that. And then I also loved on one of your latest posts, when you got to Vegas, you were coming off the airport, and I thought I was the only Chris Angel fan, Tyrone, but you are too. And that took me back. I used to watch all of his videos, Tyrone.
Yeah, I love Chris Angel. I'm hoping I can get a chance to watch one of the shows, but I'm a big fan of Chris Angel.
Yeah, I've never seen him in person, only YouTube. So you'll have to bring back some of those memories for us. I saw he's having the Mind Freak show out there. I mean, he just does incredible things. I'm still trying to figure out how he walked on water. I've seen that video like a million times and trying to figure out how he planned that entire thing. But I hope you get to have fun in Vegas. All right, look, everyone's shouting you out already, Tyrone. UNLV's finest. Again, the love is still there. How does it feel, Tyrone? People still showing you lots of love.
You know what? It's actually fun. It's funny you bring it up because me and my son, we've been learning how to play the frisbee golf. I don't know if you play that.
I have not. Sorry, you explain that to me. Frisbee golf.
Yeah. So it's like golf, but it's with the frisbees. I mean, it's a disc. And I ran into a guy today. Me and my son was out there this morning at Sunset Park, and the guy came up and he asked me, he said, you look like this guy that played in the 90s. And I started laughing. And I said, what are you talking about? He's like, Nesby. I said, yeah, Nesby.
That's me.
Started laughing. So we're talking about 25 years ago. So it's actually pretty cool that people are still,
remembering.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And I think it just shows your impact, right? I think that's what's exciting about sports. Like, sports brings out so many people already. When I said you were coming on the show, and Tyrone, I'm based in DC. So, DC was excited to have you on. Like, he's coming on the show. I said, you all know I had to bring somebody back, especially with all of the news coming from DC that we're going to talk about. You know what? I'm already going to go to the first question from the fans. So we'll start with DC, all right? What was the most memorable moment in DC as a member of the Wizards? And that one's from touring the AFC South, Mike Patton.
Oh man, the memory. I'm gonna say, man, playing with Jordan was a great memory.
That's a good one.
Have an opportunity. I mean, it's always exciting when someone as Michael's status taking time out to want to trade to bring me there. So that alone gave me a lot of like, okay, this guy must really like me, must really like my game to get me there. So I think just playing with him is going to be memories I'm going to have forever.
I love that. And, tell us what it was like, though. I mean, we saw The Last Dance. In The Last Dance, they really didn't get to show, of course, his time in D.C. But, were you ever intimidated at all? Like, you're about to play with MJ. The pressure's on you. And then what the Wizards were trying to do, Tyrone. You can be honest. Or was it more
Hey, I'm all about organic, so I'm going to keep it 100. I mean, I had a great time. I wasn't really nervous playing against him. I think to me, I was more nervous and just making mistakes. Mm-hmm. I didn't want him to feel like, oh man, I think this is not a good idea bringing this guy here, and I was more nervous about making mistakes. But once I got a chance to meet Mike, and we actually sat down and talked a lot, and he's just a normal guy. He's a guy that want to win, and he find ways to do it. And so I took the time out to try to understand him and understand the game more.
Yeah, again, somebody you can learn from, and it's just great to hear that you learned a lot from him. And I'm curious, Tyrone, so did you watch The Last Dance with the rest of us? Were you every episode had to be somewhere to watch it, or did you?
No.
No.
No. The reason why, because the story is a story I already knew about. So it was kind of like they just recap on everything that happened. Which when I was young, I actually watched it, so I kind of knew what it's about. But I did tell my kids to make sure that they look at it. And, if they're basketball, I think if you're a basketball fan or a player, you should have watched it.
So, what did your kids say about it?
Oh, my son, he liked it. He said it was pretty cool. He said, I think kids nowadays are more shocked on how, guys were back in the day. Where you can really foul someone really hard and still stay in the game.
Right.
It's so
I like
different
that.
No, it's watered down now. It's watered down.
Okay, let's tell this debate. I'm curious. Look, it is what it is. Even though I'm like you, Tyrone, I like old school basketball, right? Let the guys play, right? Stop crying about everything.
Yes,
but
exactly, everything.
See, we're here, Tyrone. We're here. I'm curious, Tyrone, for your son watching The Last Dance, did he say that MJ's the GOAT, or is he LeBron's the GOAT?
Oh, you asking me who I think is the GOAT?
No, I'm asking what your son said after watching Last Dance.
You know what? We never really talk about who the GOAT is. He know me. I'm not gonna. I would say Michael is the GOAT in his era, and LeBron would be the GOAT in his era. I leave it more like that because both of the guys are unbelievable, and I enjoy watching. I don't pick and choose who the GOAT is. I don't do that. I'm a really big fan of Kobe Bryant, and Kobe it's hard for me to put somebody above Kobe because I am a really big fan of his. But at the end of the day, I do not claim the GOAT. I think everybody is a GOAT in the era.
I like that, a GOAT of the era. And shout out to Simone Biles, by the way, for being the first female athlete to get the GOAT emoji on Twitter, since we're talking about GOAT, Tyrone.
Nice.
All right. Let's go to another question from the fans. What was the atmosphere like playing with Michael Jordan in DC?
Wow, crazy.
Crazy. One word.
Just crazy. I mean, it was one of the things where when Mike first got to the free throw line, we went in DC. So sorry, DC. We actually was in Miami. But he took a free throw. Then I happened to be in the game, and he took the shot. And everybody in the arena took a picture at the same time. And all the flash just went out, like a big flash. And everybody started laughing. And I looked over. I was like, oh, my God. I said, the good thing about this, I'm going to be in a lot of pictures. I'm going to be in. It was pretty cool. But the atmosphere was great in D.C. I love D.C.
That's good. I'm glad you love DC because, again, we're based in DC, Tyrone. So only nice things about DC you're able to say on this show.
Yeah, I love DC.
What about, did you have any favorite restaurants where you were here or any music groups? Were you listening to go-go while you were here, Tyrone? Did you really get ingrained in the culture?
I didn't get ingrained into it, but I do love go-go music. I like the way people dance, so I enjoy that. I love Chinese food, so I'm a big Chinese.
Yeah. Did you get the chicken wings and mumbo sauce at the Chinese joint?
Yes. But I go down to over the Georgetown area. There's a Chinese place over there. I used to go there all the time and just eat. And then, the arena is being close to Chinatown. So I don't even get in my car after practice. I just walk right down to Chinatown.
It's right there.
It's right there. Yeah, so I enjoy it.
Amazing to hear. And as I understand it, you're still pretty close to a lot of your former Wizards teammates. I saw the conversation that you all had. You, Etan Thomas, Jahadi White, Chris Whitney. Also, I know you just had Kwame Brown on your show through Organic Sports. So, just talk about that bond that you all developed, because it seems like y'all are still, the brotherhood is still right there.
Oh, the brotherhood have to be there. And you know what, to be honest with you, I think anybody that plays in the NBA should be connected to a brotherhood. The brotherhood should just be there. Period. It doesn't matter if you play 3 years, 5 years, 12 years, 20 years. We all have done something that a ton of people would love to do in this world. We in the 1% And it ain't even really 1%. It's less than 1% of guys get to make it to the professional level. So the brotherhood is there, and I enjoy them guys, man. I mean, we all laugh, we all cry, we all had our moments. We all had our talks where you came and threw a rock in the ocean, you shoot everything and you're missing it. We're like, what is going on? And so we all had these moments, and what we did, we always picked each other up and make sure that we was ready for the next game. And I appreciate that from you guys.
That's real. And that's the bond that you build with teammates. Because I know more recently, and I know, of course, I'm sure you've been asked about this a couple times, but Kwame Brown, of course, has been in the news, and you've had his back. Mm-hmm. Many of the teammates have had his back. Of course, we all kind of know the story by now. He got called out on all the smoke, and he fired back, rightfully so, I think, Tyrone, when someone calls you out and talks about your player style. So, how important has that been? I don't know if he's expressed that to you, but how important has it been for you all to kind of have his back? As it seemed like, a lot of people got on him all of a sudden when he was just chilling, just minding his own.
I talk to Kwame. We try to talk a lot. We reach out to each other, and all the smoke, I wasn't a big fan of them even going at him. I thought, like I said before, we all should be in this brotherhood. We should all look out for each other. We don't, sadly to say, we don't have anybody in the media that support us like that. Yeah. So when we do anything wrong, people are quick to put us out there on blast. And they try to blast us no matter what we do. So with these platforms, with these podcasts and stuff that guys got going on, these former NBA players, they should use that to uplift each other, not to try to tear each other down. And so I was not a big fan of that. I most definitely would like to have a conversation with the Up and Smoke guys and Steven and Jackson and all that, and just be able to figure out how we can get Kwame and get them together to have that talk. Either it can be off camera. I just don't like that we are beefing with each other like that, because I don't know, that beef can turn into something else that we don't want. And Kwame is a really good guy. It was just, he been getting beat up for so long. It was Stephen A. saying his part, jumping in, spitting his words, that type of stuff that he should have been quiet on. Kind of fired him up, and I don't think it was right, at all. So I'm behind Kwame. I'm behind all the former players. 120%.
Yeah, and I think you bring up so many important points. And for one, again, I think it is important that his teammates had his back. And I think, look, media, all of us are different, right? Just like players don't all want to be grouped along, each other. I think the same thing for media. And so one thing, Tyrone, I like to do, I have a Do Good Award. We're on our athletes who are doing good in the community, giving back. I love highlighting their foundations and just all the good work that you all do. But I think something else that we have to, of course, acknowledge, like you said, is like, y'all are grown men. We're grown people, and we should be able to have a conversation, right? Without always just having to get kind of personal. And I think, what you just said, I do hope that also happens, right? That a conversation can happen instead of just the back and forth. And I think you're right. I mean, of course, I know the whole world would like to be there to watch it, but look, it doesn't need to be for everyone, right? Because it's Exactly. So I'm glad that you brought up that point. But again, it's just good to know that he has a support system. And look, Kwame, in DC, we enjoyed all of y'all times here. Like, we were rooting for all of y'all in DC. So I'm so happy you touched on that. And Tyrone, look, everyone's trying to take you away from me. They're asking all the questions before me and you can even get into the interview. But look, I love it. Everybody interacting with the show. This was from Donetta Coleman, actually up your way in Vegas. What are your thoughts on the new NCAA ruling of allowing college players to be paid through endorsements? So now we see college players can get paid for their likeness, name, and image. Tyrone, are you a fan of it?
I'm a big fan of it. I would have been more big of a fan if I could have got it when I was there.
You benefited, right?
Because I would benefit from it. But no, I think that the NCAA, they should have been having these kids out. People don't realize, as a player, all your time go into schoolwork and on the court, whatever sport you're playing, and you don't have the luxury to really work. So you're looking for money. If you call home, I had to call so many times just to get $20 from my mom or something, just to have some money in my pocket. And people don't realize that it's very difficult for a student athlete to survive, and guys should not be, when Tarkanian was in UNLV, his wife cooked for them boys all the time. I just think about a lot of players didn't even eat anything. She would bring that food to the gym for them.
Wow, yeah.
She would actually do that, and it's great to have someone like that around the program. But I am all for it. I think it's a great thing. And then NCAA, just to do a small touches, they have to be careful because there are I think there's a couple of teams that are moving to different conference. So it's going to get to a point where you're going to have teams all stacking up and they're going to break away from the NCAA.
Right.
And if that happens, then now you'll see kids are going to go where they get paid. It's just going to be that simple.
Right, exactly. They're going to go where the money resides, right? It's point blank, period. Right. Everybody wants to get paid. And, even think about our Olympians right now, right? The Olympics is going on. What about some of these kids or say young adults who are about to go back to school? Think about the money they're about to make, Tyrone. It's going to be crazy, right?
It's going to be crazy. But, NCAA makes so much money from these student athletes. A lot. We talking about billions they've made. So I think it's time for them to get back. So
I agree. Look, make your money. Y'all do so much for those colleges and universities. When you think about the amount of money that you're bringing in, right? I mean, why shouldn't you be able to get paid? Like you said, you shouldn't have to call home for $20, when you can't even get a job. And look, you're lucky too if your mom gave you $20. I remember calling home sometimes. My parents like, well, look, hope you find it. Sometimes they gave it to me, but sometimes, look, I had to find a way. But that's what college is all about, right? Learning to kind of, fend for yourself. But I think many of us can say it took too long, but we're glad it happened. Tyrone, you have the questions just fuming in. I'm trying to relate it to the subject we're talking about. We do have one more on the Kwame Brown situation. I'll throw up really quick, even though we touched on it. How do you feel about Kwame Brown coming back after 20 years to defend himself from critics? I know you kind of touched on that because you said it, basically, Tyrone, you said, look, I mean, it's been happening, right? So he finally fired back. And he said, also, though, this is interesting. Also, while you shared a locker room with him, did he ever express his displeasure with certain media members?
No, he didn't really. Kwame was very quiet, which was, some people don't realize Kwame didn't really talk that much when we were together. So I was very happy to see him come out and speak up for himself. Like I really was. But if we had a problem, normally guys would just deal with it, and talk on whoever they have that problem with and take care of it. But no, he never really talked about it at all. But I'm very happy that he came out now because it kind of, some people need to be called out. It's just that simple.
Hey, look, you heard it here first. All right, we got another question about NBA Super Team. So why don't we touch on that, Tyrone? We just saw the Milwaukee Bucks win the NBA championship. We saw Giannis Antetokounmpo get MVP. First off, what were your thoughts on that and the Milwaukee Bucks, just their overall run in that series against the Phoenix Suns?
You know what? More ups to Milwaukee. I'm very excited for them. I'm not going to lie. My prediction was I thought Phoenix will be playing against Atlanta Hawks. I called it. I called it.
Who went to my university, the University of Maryland, Tyrone. We finally got to come on the big stage.
Yeah, and people thought I was crazy. Even myself was like, what? I was like, yeah, I think Atlanta Hawks will be playing against. Because I just feel like this year was kind of like the same year when Toronto won. It's like you got that team coming out and like, where they come from? So, but more love to Milwaukee and the fans of Milwaukee. You guys deserve it. I mean, you worked your butt off for it. A lot of love for them. But, I thought Phoenix, the point guard, I thought Chris Paul was going to actually be able to pull that off. But maybe that's I
had Phoenix. I had them finally doing it. I had Chris Paul getting his ring, Tyrone, but look, like you said, maybe next year. And what about the Hawks? How do you think they'll fare out? You think they'll? I think the Hawks
I think they're gonna be okay. I mean, everything's gonna be based on. I always feel with the draft tonight and with teams are most definitely talking to each other today. There's gonna be so much going on today. I can't even call how the day is gonna really be because you got teams are now. I just found out that Westbrook is gonna be going to the Lakers.
I was going to talk with you about that today, Tyrone. Our Wizards, Westbrook and Bill together, and now he's heading out to LA.
Yep. So he's going to be heading out there, and so that's going to be something that's going to be very exciting to watch. Who knows? That can help the Lakers. I know it will help the Lakers out a lot. But I honestly, to be honest with you, I thought Chris Paul would go to the Lakers.
Really? Okay.
I think he will.
About that, though, so you weren't alone.
Yeah, I would think that Chris Paul will fit in that system more because now you take the ball out of LeBron hands and let LeBron do what he need to do on the wing. And that's just me. It's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
My suggestion.
You got us thinking, Tyrone. You got us thinking. Now let's get the question on the screen. What is your opinion on these NBA super teams? I know people pointed to Giannis Antetokounmpo possibly taking shots at people when he posted the Instagram post, right, of players who were able to get a championship with their original team. So, Tyrone, former NBA player, are you a fan of these super teams that you're seeing? Are you more loyal to your original team? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? I'm old school when it comes to certain things. So I most definitely would say I like the way the guys did it back in the day. They just stayed with their original team and won. I'm all for that. But we're talking about 2021 now. We're talking about a new generation, different mindset. If they look at it as now, I feel I'm going to say kid. I'm thinking about my players, my young boys.
Yeah.
But the athletes now, the players now are making decisions that players back in the day was not making.
Right.
The players are now running the NBA. They all talking to each other, teamed up with each other. And again, I'm from the old school era. I don't want to team up with the best player.
Right.
I want to go against the best player. But this is their era. And once a team do it, and I know everybody's going to blame LeBron because LeBron was the first one to make the move. And I know what everybody's going to blame LeBron. But you can't get mad at other teams that's actually doing it. You know, I mean, if you guys are going to do it, I'm not going to sit back here and try to play the hero all the time and don't have the core team around me that can go out and get it and win a championship. So that means I may end up going to another team myself to try to win it. So it makes sense.
Do you think super teams are hurting the NBA though at all, Tyrone? When we see a team, people think they're automatically going to win.
Yeah, it does hurt a little bit because when you're watching the game, you're like, okay, we know the team's gonna win. Look who they got. So it takes away the fun of watching the game, you know.
Yeah.
But again, these guys are trying to leave their legacy, and they want to make sure that they leave out, and everybody wants their ring, and it's like you're not even. Yeah, it's like it don't even count. You've been in the NBA for 20 years, you don't get a ring. It's like. I mean, you asked Charles Barkley, who's a hell of a ball player.
Example, right?
You know, and I like Charles Barkley, but I'm just saying, you ask a person like him that played all them years and was a hell of a player, but don't have a ring.
Yeah. But does the ring does it mean as much, Tyrone, if you win it with the super team? Are y'all looking at it the same? Should the world look at it the same, Tyrone? We're going there.
Hey, see, I'm glad you're going there. As a player, look, however we get it, we don't get it. We don't care if I'm getting it with all the best players in the league playing on my team, or if I get it with just me being the best player and I got a bunch of average ball players with me. We're excited about getting it. Now, the fans, of course, they're like, well, you're supposed to get it. You should get it. But we don't think that way. We don't think that way.
Okay, that's good to know. And I appreciate the honest feedback, right? A ring's a ring, right? Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Ring. Look, y'all heard it here. The players look at it the same. All right, Tyrone, this has been so much fun. But, let's start at the beginning of your story. Let's talk about being from Illinois, growing up there. Let's kind of talk about how you found your love of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me okay, Tyrone?
Oh, wow. So, no, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, so let's just talk about the beginning.
Good.
When you first picked up that basketball, where did the love come from?
Well, I didn't start playing until I got into the 8th grade. And the basketball was my first girlfriend. So that's still my love of my life.
And you never cheated on her?
I never cheated on her. I always put my time in to become a better ball player. If I go at 3 o'clock in the morning, she have no problem dribbling. She have no problem going to the basket at 3 in the morning. She's always ready for me. So basketball was my first girlfriend. And still to this day, I have to go in the gym and shoot with her to keep her right.
I love that analogy.
Yeah. So that's just me. But no, I was like in the 8th grade when I started playing. I had a coach. I was walking down the hallway, and he was like, "You're a big guy." And so I turned around, and he was like, "You play basketball?" I was like, "Nah, I don't play." And he's like, "We have tryouts tonight. You should come." And I'm like, "Coach, I don't play." And I get to my mom. I was getting home. He was there talking to my mom, telling my mom that I should come out.
On the team.
Yeah. So my mom said, "Do you want to play?" I'm like, I tried, so I went out there and I didn't know anything about basketball at the time. And once that first year was over with, I just fell in love with it. And then I just felt like, I was tall. Once my skills start developing, I was like, you know what, maybe this is what I should do. But I can tell you, I never dreamed about going to the NBA and none of that. I would be lying if I say that. I just took it as I like the sport.
Right.
But my junior year of high school is when I started falling in love with it.
When you started falling in love with it.
That's when I really started falling in love with it. I stopped playing baseball. I still was running track, but basketball was my thing. And once the college letters start coming in, and you really get excited.
Exactly. You think you're good.
I got really excited. Yes. I mean, somebody's watching you. And I just took it from there. So
the rest was history, right?
The rest.
You kind of started quote unquote later, right? Especially now when we see things like the AAU circuit, and you know this from coaching, right? We see it starting earlier and earlier, but you were able to still get to the top level and play basketball. So I hope that's a lesson out there for the kids out there, Tyrone, that sometimes it doesn't matter where you start; it can be where you finish, right?
But also, that's true. And just to add on to that, my mom never tried to live through me when it came to basketball. That helped a lot. When I got home. Yes. When I got home, we just talked about schoolwork. She didn't even ask me how did the game go. She's like, she said, I know Friday you're supposed to have a paper needed to turn in. Did you turn it in? I was like, Mom, I did turn it in. And I'm trying to talk about the game. She don't even care about the game, but I appreciate it. I mean, rest her soul. I really appreciate that type of support because it did keep me focused, in which it helped me with my son. To this day, it's funny because I have this rule where we don't talk about basketball at home.
Right.
We only, from in the car to the house, once we get home, that's it. Get your work, let's eat, we talk about life. And it works.
That's huge to know, I think, because, I think sometimes we do forget they're student athletes. And sometimes, unfortunately, Tyrone, so many parents sometimes, or I'll say a good portion of parents sometimes are only focusing on the sport, thinking that's the only thing. But as you know, too, basketball has an ending point, Tyrone, and it's hard to get, I'm not saying that you can't get there, but the NBA, I mean, think about it. Think about the roster size and how many guys there are, right, in the NBA. It's hard to get there. And there's nothing with knowledge that can last you a lifetime.
That's true. And I if you go on YouTube, I did something with the AAU parents. Where I was kind of just talking about how they need to conduct themselves. And I was trying to get them to understand that your kid's performance, it don't indicate you as a bad parent because your kid is playing bad. Some people think it's my kid's playing horrible, so you must be a bad parent. No. Right. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. But people actually really believe in that. And that's where you see all this frustration that they go in the game, not really seeing the game for what it is, but actually just watching their kids' face, and the kids go sit on the bench and they drop their head, or they throw their lips out, and the parents all, well, my kid is a horrible time. That's not always the case.
And you know this as a coach.
Yes.
Yeah, continue. I'm sorry.
Couldn't hear you. What did you say?
I said, no, and you know this firsthand as a coach now, right, Tyrone? I mean, you're dealing with parents. You've dealt with parents. I'm curious, Tyrone, have you ever had any parents that almost just drove you to the ledge that just that kept trying to tell you how to coach, Tyrone? Did you ever have any of those parents?
Yeah, I mean, how many do you want me to start naming? Like 50 million of them? I could go all day with that. I can tell you that what I tell a parent is, let me come to your job. And be over your head and tell you what you're doing. And let me see if you can deal with me all day saying, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. And also while I'm talking to you, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm just talking. And I have this happen to me a lot. And but I can tell you my main focus is always on the kids. So no matter what the parents say, I always put my focus on the kids, and that's what kept me focused to get to that level we need to get to. And,
just hearing you say that, it's easy to see why you're coaching, why you're loved as a coach. Let's talk about Muhlenberg High School, the high school in Pennsylvania. You did some pretty cool things, right? Helping to turn them into a state power. I love this about the program. when you took over, they averaged 5 wins per season. And then when you left, before you left, they were ranked top 10 in the state at the 5A level. So talk about a full turnaround. That's like a Coach Carter story right there, Tyrone, that you did in school, right?
No,
I mean,
it is. Because, you know, coming in, you know, coming into a program that people weren't used to me. You know, I'm not from there. I'm actually coming from an outsider actually coming in, trying to tell them what to do. And you got some of these parents with their chests out that think that they know what they're doing. And so I always had this thing at the beginning. I always tell people at the beginning, you're going around saying, who this guy think he is? But I told this guy, you're saying it at the beginning, but when it's all over, you're going to say, how did he do it?
Yeah.
You know, and so that's kind of the whole story of being there. Everybody got their chest. Who does this guy think he is? You think he's this, you think he this. Yeah. And I said, and I look at them, I said, well, first of all, just look at my resume. I don't have to tell you who I am.
I've done it.
You know, I mean, I would love, I tell all my players, I even tell my son this, I would love if I had a person like myself in my corner at their age. I would love that. Don't you know, if I was a parent, and I am a parent, but you know, if my kid was getting trained by a former NBA basketball player, that's his high school coach, I would sit in the crowd and cross my legs and eat my popcorn and enjoy the game.
Right.
And enjoy the game. What else to say?
Yeah.
It's not, we are the only one around. Like, I'm gonna tell you, I had my team, we raised money to get uniforms.
Okay.
I put the kid's name on the back of the uniforms. Mm-hmm. I had parents writing in to the superintendent to talk about why they have the names on the back. It's not about their names. Like, this is the tacky stuff that I have to go through. Wow. You know. Now, don't get me wrong. I must say I appreciate the opportunity.
Right.
You know. Joe is our superintendent. Matarola, and Dr. Matarola is our superintendent there. I wouldn't have took the job for him because he was down to earth guy when I met him, you know, and for the 4 years I was there, he always been in my corner and he always helped me out. So I must give him a shout out because when anybody take a chance on you, being a stranger coming into a program, you always got to get a little love for that. You know? Right. So he gave me that opportunity to come in to give these kids something that they've never seen. It worked out very well. But as a coach, you gotta have to deal with a lot of people kids that did get picked. You know, they asked me, did I have any questions in the interview? And only thing I said was, as long as you support me 100%. And then I also said, what are you gonna do when kids who made a team last year don't make it this year?
This year, right.
What are you gonna do? Because I am not going to be the one talking to the parents. You can, because I made my decision.
Right.
And so they was like, well, we're going to support you. And when they said that, then
you knew you had what you needed, right? Because
I had what I needed.
How weird that can be, right? When a parent keeps nagging or a player keeps nagging, you're like, look, let me deal with the basketball on the court. You guys kind of deal with the politics, right? Because you're focused on winning and developing these kids, these student athletes, to get them to the best of their abilities. And that right here, Tyrone, is why I can tell you're a good coach. And this is why you went on to win that fancy award, Tyrone. You won Coach of the Year, right? 2020 Coach of the Year in Class 5A boys basketball. So, you know, how did that feel for you, being a former NBA player, to now teaching the game of basketball, to now being recognized, Tyrone, as a top coach? What was that experience like for you when you heard that you were getting that award?
I mean, it was a good experience. I mean, to be honest with you, that was the last thing I was thinking about, is trying to get Coach of the Year. That was the last thing across my mind. But it felt good. I was in practice and I got a call from one of the sports writers, Mike Drago. And he said, hey, I'm calling you because I want to congratulate you on Coach of the Year. I said, Coach of the Year? I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, you got to stay coach. I was like, really? I said, that's pretty cool. You know, I said, you know me, man, I don't brag. I'm a very humble person. I don't really get involved in all the war stuff. But it's always feel good when you do get something like that. But I can tell you it was not easy. You know, to get that in 3 years is something that normally don't happen. They had another coach out there in our same area. He's been coaching for 17 years, and he got it the same year I got it. So for me to get it in 3 years, that was kind of cool to walk around because as a former player, people don't realize that you automatically come in with a lot of pressure on you.
And
because people expect it. The expectation, they're expecting for you. Now, despite what type of kids you got, like I'm up every night. There's times where I couldn't even sleep. I wake up at 3 a.m. I would drive to the school. I would get on the computer. I would go into this conference room we have, and I look at the game, and I analyze the game, and I break it down to the smallest element.
Right.
And then I build that stuff back up. That's what I do. And I did that night after night after night. I had all the custodians would see me pull up and like, Coach, why are you here at 3 a.m? I said, this is how I do my work, man. I need to work. And so people look at me. People look at me like, you're just a high school coach, man. You're doing way more than what college coaches do. And I say, hey, well, I take my job very seriously because to be honest with you, I get excited when I can get a kid in college to continue his education, plus continue playing the game of basketball. If you're a high school coach and if your mindset ain't set to get a kid into college, then to me, you shouldn't be coaching.
That's powerful. And, I think it's so important because if we're being honest, Tyrone, there are some people who look at maybe the high school coaching job as just kind of a stepping stone to the next level. So they're just kind of there, but they're not there. You get what I'm saying, Tyrone? So they're there, but they're not there. And I think hearing from what you're saying, I mean, you're really focused on these kids and like you said, getting them to college. And this is not just college basketball, but that degree. And again, all the things that they can do once they get to college and also to help develop their game. And I think that's important. And I think, this is why I want to go to the kind of the next part of your coaching career. Stepping away from that program, right? I mean, what was going through your mind through that, when you made that decision? And then, when we're looking at Tyrone, the coach now, kind of what are your ultimate goals in terms of coaching?
I eventually want to get that college coaching gig. That's the most important thing right now. I ain't gonna say the most important thing, but that's something I want to do. I want to make sure whatever I'm doing in the next years to come is that I'm working with kids and developing kids, because I feel like I do well specializing in player development, helping kids, because a lot of college players I watch, I'm like, you guys are just part of a system, but you don't have the IQ, the player development you guys are missing. Right. And it doesn't matter what type of coach you are, it doesn't matter what type of players you got. If they don't understand the philosophy of, look, we need a bucket. And you got to go to your best player. When I played at UNLV, I was the leading scorer there. I got the MVP the years that I was there. Each year I was there, I got the MVP there. I knew me and Coach Bano, he knew when he needed a bucket, he'd give me that look. He'd give me that look, and I look at him, and that's all I needed. You know? And I knew what I was supposed to do. See, you don't have that now. Now you just have chances out there just playing. Right. They're just playing basketball, but they're missing and then they wonder why they can't get to that next level.
Yeah. Or if they don't succeed at that next level, right? Because we also have seen guys that go from college to the NBA and it just doesn't work out. And it's going back to your point, right? They don't have that basketball IQ and that skill. They were used to playing in that system and it worked in that system. But now when you're put into a new system, what am I supposed to do? Right?
Yes. We watch it all the time. I mean, we watch it like it's yesterday. I was just thinking about Isaiah Thomas when he left Boston. Yeah. And left, and after that was it.
We don't talk about him, right?
You didn't talk about no more. Yeah, that system was what he was comfortable with. Right. And now, I'm hoping that he gets back in the league, and get to play. I know he's playing the Drew League right now. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a perfect example, right? In Boston, I mean, he's the man, right? I mean, Boston fans are worshiping him, and then we see him bounce around from team to team to team, and we're asking questions. But what we saw in Boston, why isn't it working here? Why isn't it working there? So you're so right. And again, and this is why I think, though, it's so important. If you really hear a favorite player when they get like a MVP award, a lot of times, who do they shout out? Their coach. The coach that right? Coach that supported them and really helped their game grow and develop because, they knew they got there thanks to that guidance and that leadership. And of course, it was them too, because they have to put the work in and the dedication in, maybe the long hours, maybe being there with Coach Tyrone at 5 a.m. in the morning as soon as the janitors opened them, right? Whatever was needed. But that coach aspect is so important. And to that point, I know you're with Nesby Sports, right? And you guys have, let's talk about that, because I know you're helping to develop players, personalized training services for kids and adults, right?
Yes, for kids and adults. So we do like basketball camps, a lot of one-on-one training, a lot of one-on-one training that's helping a lot of the kids. I like to focus on that. The AAU is good. AAU has been going well. We have did that. Also, being with the whole Nesby Sports is just one of them things where I can actually be myself. I don't have to listen to anybody trying to give me these type of directions that are just completely wrong. That, I can actually teach the game how it's supposed to be taught, and also having that part. We also do mentorship where I have had parents reach out. A lot of parents, thousands of parents have reached out where they have one-on-one talks with their kids. I have a young player that I've been working with that I just got done working with. He's actually signed to Marquette. So he's actually
congratulations for that. That's exciting.
Yeah. His name is Stevie Mitchell. He grew up in Reading, PA. He's gonna be a kid. I want you guys to really just look at Marquette. He's a freshman coming in, but the boy.
All right, we'll have to watch out for him.
Kids, Stevie Mitchell. I call him SM. That's what I call him, SM. I've been with the kids since he was in the 5th grade. So it's just you build that relationship, and this is when you know that you are a good coach, when you have your players are reaching out to you.
Yes.
When you're not even reaching out to them, they reach out just asking questions.
Yeah.
I have so many of my players that play with me my phone is always open for them, and they know that. Wow. And if you're not that type of coach and you're not doing it for that type of love, then honestly, we need to evaluate all coaches on all levels. There's a lot of coaches out there that should not be coaching. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, we keep it real on the show, Tyrone. It's true. Yes. Some guys are just there for, you have different reasons, right? Some people like the money, some people like the glory, some people actually want to coach, but you can tell when a coach has that right motivations, because guess what? It's going to be working around them. And a lot of times, I have a lot of athletes on the show, Tyrone. They'll talk to me about a player's coach and a guy that really just got to know them and their skill, talent, and their mindset. And those are the coaches that they bond with. Those are the coaches that they work hard for. And those are the coaches that it just works for. And so I think what you just said is so important. And this is why I'm glad also you have the skills and development. And so to that point, if there's someone out there listening to the show, Tyrone, how can they be a part of Nesby Sports? How can they learn from Tyrone Nesby how to learn to be a better basketball player?
I mean, the first thing first is just go to nesbysport.com. All right, just go there. You can email us. You can ask questions. If you need that one-on-one. Also, I'm on social media, so you can always just go to Tyrone Nesby on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm there. I'm there to help this young generation, because this young generation got a lot of talent. Some of these kids are just, man, I have seen some things in the gym. I'm like, unbelievable. So again, I just think they just missing that guidance of how to go do it. They got the talent, but they just missing that guidance. And once they get that right mentor in their corner to give them that right guidance of how to go out there and make it happen, then it
works. Let's talk about some of your mentors, Tyrone. Who are some of your mentors, both in basketball and in life, that kind of help you become who you are today, and the basketball player person that you were?
Right. Well, I mean, my mom, who's I stay rest her soul. She was just one of them ladies that, she kept it 100. By her raising me the way I am, some people either like me or hate me. People, when you're speaking the truth, people not gonna like you. It is what it is. If you don't fall in that set that they want you to fall in, to just believe stuff that's not true, I don't do well in that. So I always thank her and I always praise her for giving me that type of encouragement. Where, when something ain't right, you speak on it.
Right.
And she always said, this is what I use today. All my kids know this. Anybody around me know this. She always say, 10% That's all you're going to waste on the problem. 90% is the solution.
Yes.
What are we going to do? And so I use that till this day. Even as my kids, I'm like, okay, we know the problem. So what are we going to do now?
Right.
So,
right. Next. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's been really big in my life. My college coach, Coach Bano, and from UNLV, I've talked to him. His mom's pretty close. Rest her soul too. She just passed away this year. I used to talk to her a lot on the phone. She helped out a lot, just keeping my mind right. And my high school coach, Bill Chumler from Carroll, Illinois, man, we talk a lot on the phone. It's great to know that around 45, and I can still talk to my high school coach about things, which has always been a blessing for me, and I appreciate that. And I have a good friend of mine, Herman Few, who I'm pretty sure you met. I mean, you talked to Herman.
Yeah.
He's another guy that's been in my corner for many years, and I appreciate it. And my kids keep me motivated. I need them to stay focused, because I know at the end of the day, you always got to know why you're doing this. You got to have a reason why. So that always give me that why factor. So that's basically my mentors.
Look, and those are good mentors to have, and as we're talking about kids and having mentors, Tyrone, tonight's a pretty big night, NBA draft night, right? A lot of us are excited for this. I know the season just ended. Of course, this COVID year has everything jumbled. We have the midst of the Olympics. We've got football training camp starting, but look, tonight is for basketball, right? And even though Woj is dropping us already, who's about to get drafted, we're still excited about it, Tyrone. And, I think that mentorship piece is huge. I think one of the big things. So Woj broke the news that Cade Cunningham, he said he's a solid number 1 pick to do right now.
Detroit.
Yeah, excited about that. Anything else you're excited about for tonight's draft? Anyone you're excited to, really looking forward to getting drafted tonight?
All right. I mean, the number 1 pick was I don't say the only player, but it was one of the guys that I really enjoyed watching. Mentor, we're going to go back to the mentor just for a quick second. When I was playing, the NBA had mentors there. They don't have that program no more. So I think, they should bring that back, because these young kids come in there, they really need some guidance and some mentorship of someone. And I think they should bring that back, to bring in former players, that have no part of the teams. All you need is 1 or 2 guys, maybe 3 guys who you want to pay to come in to be a part of the team. And I think these young boys, it will help them out a lot.
I agree. Because it's a big transition, right? Going from college.
Yes.
Right? I mean, transition from experience, transition from just, now you got money. Lots of it.
You never had.
You got women everywhere. You got money, right? It's a lot.
Yes, man. I never forget my first check. I looked at it and I think I shared a tear. I was like, oh, this cannot be right. And then I look back home, I see my name on the check. I'm like, this is really mine.
Right.
So yes, man, you need that guidance, and you do need someone around you that's going to help you make the right choices.
Right.
And understand that the contract year is coming very fast.
Yeah, and that's important. Again, that mentorship piece. And I'm like you, I think bring that program back, because we need everything that we can do to help support these guys. Yeah. And especially now more than ever, Tyrone, because of social media. I think that adds a whole nother element too to what these guys are having to deal with, right, when it comes to it. But I am on that point, I know we might not have the mentorship, but I think the NBA is trying to get right this mental health piece. I think that's something else too, talking about that transition from college to playing in the pros. We don't think about the mental health. And I think Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka have had us as a world have a larger conversation on mental health. But do you think, from what you've seen now, is there enough of that in the NBA, or is there more that we can do too as we prepare these young guys for the next phase of their journey and playing professionally?
Right. Well, to be honest with you, and mental health been around. It's been around forever. Even when I was there, before I was there, we were just taught to just deal with it. We were just taught to, if you showed any signs of weakness, get tough. You need to be tough. That's how we was taught. Right. Now these younger generation, because they are raised different, you say your shoes are dirty, they're gonna go crazy and be ready to jump off the building because you just said their shoes was dirty. You know, like they take things to the heart. They take things. They're very passionate about whatever it is that they're doing, and social media is something that they're very passionate about. So when you go at them, their reactions are a lot different from how I react if you tell me I'm ugly. I'm going to react different from how my son probably would act if you told him he was ugly. You know, and so the mental health has been around for a while, and I can tell you the transition, it is tough, and that's why when I see Simone up there speaking, and I'm listening to her talking, and I'm just sitting there shaking my head like these people who sit on their couch, who ain't never worked out in a day of their life,
not at all,
behind the computers, typing what they want to type about. Oh, this is this and this is that. They all can go to hell, if you can ask me. All of them go to hell, because that is completely wrong. If you have not woken up every day and develop your craft, whatever it is that you do, if you have not took time out and did this every day, and you're performing in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and people are looking for you to be your best every day, people don't understand the pressure that you are dealing with. And so for all them people, seriously, they all can go to hell. All the ones that sit around got negative things to say about the women that gave they all to the sport, and guys that gave they all to the sport, and everybody have something negative to say, man, they can all go to hell. Sorry. They can go.
No, don't say sorry. Look, again, there's people who are warriors who are, who are thinking that they're all of a sudden the best gymnast in the world. You don't know what it's like.
Yes.
Right? She's a human being, and who are you to judge her? Or she's living her own life. Right? And then we would have no problem. But Tyrone, we're not giving them our energy, Tyrone. We're giving them 10%. We're keeping our 90%, Tyrone. I'm so happy.
That's right. I gotta throw my boy Kwame. I gotta throw the mama cooking in. I gotta throw that in. We just cooked.
There you go. And Tyrone, oh my gosh, it's been such a fun conversation. I'm not going to keep you too long. You are in Vegas, and we want you to have some fun in Vegas. But I do want to touch on organic sports. Tell us what this is all about, Tyrone, and why you started it.
Okay. Yeah, so organic sports is it's a platform. Well, I started because of me growing up and watching sports and going through, and also being in high school, hearing the negative things that people got to say about me. Right. But I never told my story. You read stuff about people in the paper, but the players normally just say, don't worry about it, man. Just focus on your game. Don't get caught up in that. But you know what? That's false information about you. So you tell them you don't get caught up in it's false information. And so I feel like, with organic sports, I thought about this years ago, and I'm kind of like bringing it now is giving players a platform. To speak, so we can hear their voice, and also we can listen to their perspective of what they think and how they live their life. And so when you see a situation that a player was in that you may think what's going on, but now this player can go up and actually speak about it. And so organic sports in a nutshell is giving you the opportunity to be very organic. So it's really what it is. You're going to hear guys be straight up 100. I try not to use the bad words that much. I try to keep it very,
family show.
Yeah. But sometimes, hell will come out. So right now, it comes out.
Look, that's how I know my show. I mean, it's organic. It's a family show, but I also want people to be real. And your real emotion might be that, right? I'm not going to stop.
Yes.
So I think that's huge, Tyrone. That's exciting. So I'm so glad you're launching that. So where can we find organic sports?
So you just reading my mind right now. I was just about to say so you can we are here, so that's cool. So they can just go to Instagram. Everything is organic, and it'd be organic with a K at the end.
I love that.
With a Z at the end.
I like that K.
Yeah, K. So you go social. I mean, I'm saying social media. I'm sorry. You can go on Instagram. You go on Facebook. I said Facebook. I'm getting old. Instagram, Facebook. And you know what's funny? It just came to my head, and you're gonna start laughing. It was MySpace. It just came to my head just now.
Look, I remember the MySpace days. Don't feel bad.
It just came to my head. Why it came to my head, I have no clue. Why it's in my head.
Maybe some people still have it, right? I don't know. Look, find Tyrone on MySpace.
Yeah, go to MySpace. Oh my God, I just thought that.
Good memory.
But you got, you got LinkedIn, you got all the social media. Just make sure that when you type in organic, just with the K at the end, and sports with the Z at the end. But I appreciate this. This was fun.
This has been fun, Tyrone. And last question before I let you go. We didn't get a chance to talk about your Clippers, all right? So I'm curious, your Clippers. Uh-oh, we're laughing already, Tyrone. Is there any hope? Are they going to hoist the trophy anytime soon, Tyrone?
Oh, man, I thought this year would have been a year for them. Quietly, I thought, even though they was not a team that I was picking to win, but I still thought that they would at least win as far as what they did. But you know what? They got Tyrone there, one of my former teammates.
Yeah, we remember Tyrone. Yep, here in Washington.
Yeah, Tyrone, yep. So we got one of our former teammates. That's right. He's a Washington Wizards. Yes.
You know I had to shout it out. You in DC media right now, Tyrone.
Yes, that's right. DC, baby. I love DC. I think I said it once. I told you I'm getting old. I be forgetting stuff.
You can say it multiple times. We love to hear that.
Yeah, we love DC. I'm gonna say it one more time. But yeah, you know what? Maybe I can't call it right now with the Clippers.
Yeah.
Clippers have been having some good teams throughout the years, but they could never get it together. And I don't know if it's a curse or what, but the owner is really cool. He has done a good job. He has shown that he really support what's going on in the basketball world. It's just not just a team for him, and I appreciate that. And so I hope they get it together. Clips, we gotta get it together, man. I don't know, maybe when I meet up with Tyrone Lou this at the Summer League. And,
nice. Oh, that's exciting.
So I talk to them and see what they're gonna do.
All right, Tyrone. Tell them to be good. And you know what? People be nice to Paul George. Tyrone, talking about somebody else that keeps getting a lot of hate on social media.
I'm glad you brought that up. Now I was so upset. And I'm gonna talk about Paul George, I'm gonna talk about Ben Simmons. People gotta understand the pressure. People gotta understand when you are out there, like with Kyrie Irving, when he stepped away. He stepped away for a reason. He's going through something. Hey, let the guy step away for whatever days he needs, because he's a hell of a ball player. When he comes back, he's gonna come back ready, and you know that. So with Paul George, they want to be on him so much, and even when he was in the bubble, and he had to go through so much when he's during the bubble, and people gotta realize, leave your family and go into a bubble for 30 days. That's like you leaving everybody. You're not allowed to go to no restaurants. You're not allowed to do nothing. You're just in this bubble. Think about that. You're taking all their freedom away. And we're talking about $100 million guys that can't even leave out and go get a burger if they want to.
Yeah.
Like it is stressful for them guys, man. I just wish people bag off of these black athletes that's already been going through a lot already. All right, it's already tough already for us. So to already have that extra pressure, and I see a lot of these reporters, and I have to call out Stephen A. a little bit because he goes at these guys pretty hard. And these guys, once again, and this is one of my big things, if you ain't never played, you ain't never been through what they've been through, you really get zero attention from me. Like I hear you talking, but I don't even add on to what you just said because you have no clue. Yeah. No clue. So Paul, man, if you happen to look at this, man, bro, stay strong, brother. Keep doing your thing. The league needs you, bro. The league needs you. So keep doing your thing.
And I hope he does hear that. Tyrone Nesby, it's been a pleasure. All right, last question because this fan wants to get it in. Talking about our USA men's basketball team. They beat Iran and they beat Iran, but it's because they're really not as weak as Iran. What do you think? So basically, let's sum this question up. Do you think there's hope for our men's basketball team, Tyrone?
Okay, well, I want everybody to take a step back when you talk about the U.S. Team. First of all, let's go back to the schedule that they had building up to where they at to now. These boys ain't really had no time off. So I am be honest with you, I was happy that we even got a team.
Yeah, together.
Yeah, to get everybody together, because honestly, with this type of schedule that they had this past season, I don't think I would have played. Because what happened is everybody looking for them to be their best. And I'm not trying to make excuses for the guys. I just don't like when people like to use money. When this guy's making blah, 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 he should do this, he should do whatever. He's human. Yeah. All right? He's human, man, at the end of the day. So I wish they can pick it up to kind of shut up a lot of people. I hope they can just all come together and pick it up and hope Popovich get them boys going and get them, rowdy up to go out and to at least go out there and lead with some respect. You don't want to. We are America, man. We just can't go out there and just, because people thinking that the other teams have gotten better, but I feel that we don't have our best players. We have some of our best players there, but we don't have everybody there.
Right, right.
And all them other teams, they got their best player from their country is actually playing. We don't have that. We don't have it.
It's true, right? Because this crazy year that we had, we're talking about Washington. Bradley Beal couldn't go, right? Because he got COVID.
Exactly.
So, right. I mean, we've been through a lot, basically.
You got Anthony Davis, you got LeBron James is not playing. You got Steph Curry that's not playing.
Curry, right? Steph Curry.
You got Klay Thompson, one of the best shooters in the league that's not playing. I mean, and you got Kyrie Irving. And we can go forever.
Yeah.
James Harden. I mean, we can go forever with guys that we don't even have in their plan. So I just want to give a shout out to the USA team, man. Y'all keep playing hard, man. I'm going to support my basketball players 100% if you're doing good or bad. So just keep representing.
Tyrone, it's been such a pleasure. I feel like me and you could talk all day, but it's been such a pleasure.
Yeah, I know, right?
Good show. Thanks so much for taking time out and keeping it real. Before I let you go, just any last words for the listening audience?
No, man, just keep listening to her show, man. She's good. I love it.
I appreciate that, Tyrone.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Well, everyone, again, check out Tyrone. He's doing a lot of stuff. Check out Organic Sports. He told y'all, find him on all social media. Check it out. And look, listen for those real athlete stories, those unfiltered athlete stories. It's going to be content that we're looking for. Tyrone, thanks again so much. Enjoy Vegas. Stay safe. Enjoy Summer League. And we're looking forward to watching the rest of the coaching journey, Tyrone.
Oh, yes. We'll be around. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much. Bye, Tyrone.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, everyone. Thanks again so much for tuning into the special edition of Listen In with KNN. Coming up on our next show, Thursday at 6 p.m. I'm so excited. We're doing a show before the NFL Hall of Fame game, and I have two NFL dads joining me. Ezekiel Elliott's father, Stacey Elliott, will be joining me actually live from the Hall of Fame in Canton. So super excited about that, as well as the father of Marcus Allen of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Sean Allen, will be joining me. So two dads. I'll be doing my show live from a special restaurant in DC. It's going to be lots of fun, and they're going to be in Canton joining me, and we're going to kick off the football season on Listen In with KNN. All right. I had to do it big for football season because I know y'all are ready for it. We're, of course, excited for Cowboys and Steelers, two teams that I think both teams have very high expectations. So that's at 6 p.m. Don't miss it. And coming up on my audio show, very excited to have a member of Team USA men's rugby team. So also be on the lookout for that. I also just dropped a show with Rob Walker, who is a columnist for the Times-Picayune and advocate in New Orleans. Check out that show. We gave you all a special preview to the draft. We talked about what's going on in New Orleans, both with the Saints and the Pelicans, and so much more. And as always, a special thanks to my entire Listen In with KNN team. Thanks as always for all that you do and for helping to put the show together. And thanks to you all, the listeners, the viewers. I could not do the show without you. Appreciate your support. And again, you all made the show with Tyrone Nesby fun. We have lots of great content coming up for the rest of the month of August. Make sure you guys hashtag Listen In with KNN or hashtag LIWKNN with content you like. All right, enjoy the NBA draft, and I will see you all soon. Again, look out for new shows dropping this weekend. Just dropped a show today. Be sure to check it out on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. Just check out Listen In with KNN everywhere that you find your favorite podcast. All right, bye, guys.
Follow Kelsey on social media at @TheRealKNelson. Catch episodes of Listen In with KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM Fox Sports Radio, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN.
You used to hear me on your airwaves or hear me on my hit podcast, but now I'm taking you to the screen. You'll love Elevator Thoughts. We will talk the latest trending in sports. It's game time. What better way to get to know those that visit the show than over some good food and drink? It's time for Confessions.
Listen In with KNN on Fox Sports Radio now offers official Kelsey Nicole Nelson apparel in a variety of styles for men and women. Fashionable shirts, leggings, hats, jackets, and more. Order now and get 15% off and free shipping. Just enter promo code KNN. Get your Listen In with KNN wearables today. And check out Listen In with KNN on Fox Sports Radio with Kelsey Nicole Nelson.